If no one else has a question, I have a quick question, which is one of the things I think is interesting in 7.172, and maybe in the idea of covenant generally, and I'm happy to see that you mentioned it to some extent, is this strange combination of freedom and constraint. That they have to testify. The question is rhetorical. So it's not absolute, and you can say that's of course true even in the Judaic covenant, right? I mean, you enter into it freely, but God sets the terms, right? And you either agree or you disagree. And in any of the literature, has there been a discussion about this idea? Because in some exegetical traditions and some hadith traditions, this verse, although it does seem to me, I agree with you, to be absolutely connected to this idea of human free will, gets tied to a hadith that are compulsionist even in certainly predestinarian in content. So how are these issues sort of brought out in any of the...
Yeah, thanks for bringing up predestination and free will, my favorite topic, and I'm going to solve it in 5 minutes.
Well, I'm just asking.
Yeah, no.
Yes,
I mean, in terms of what I have come across, and I've gone through about 10 different tafsir on the different verses that I'm talking about here. I have not found what I hold to be a satisfactory treatment of that particular issue within there. I mean, even in, as you well know, the place within the commentary tradition where free will and predestination is taken head on, shall we say, by most mufassirs, is in Surat al-Qamar, towards the end of Surat al-Qamar. I think it's 54, 56. And even there, there's still not really a satisfactory answer to how one can negotiate this notion of God being all-powerful and imposing this upon us, and God and then human beings having tasrif of some kind in order to engage in this. And so my personal opinion is that ultimately the only freedom comes about, and this can only really be solved on the level of esotericism, is that the only true freedom is when you completely submit and participate in the divine freedom, and then that is absolute freedom. And only absolute freedom can be true freedom, because freedom implies complete lack of limitation. And therefore, it's only in that complete submission. And that, in a sense, is what God offers to humanity, is that in that instance, human beings are completely submissive. And in that act of being completely submissive and bearing witness, they are actually completely bound and completely free at the same time, because they are participating in that divine freedom. And then it is to come to this process of realizing the submission, what's called the process in a sense of tawakkul, that one then slowly realizes that this, what we imagine to be free will, because usually we're looking at it as we're looking at it horizontally in our everyday experience, as I can put my hand here, I can put my hand here, but that's not freedom, and it's only the vertical freedom of participating in the divine wherein true freedom can be found.